Israeli Defence Forces said they had thwarted a Hamas terrorist bid to blow up mourners at today's October the 7th anniversary vigils. Israeli spotters were said to have detected threats from Gaza close to events where 1,000 relatives of Nova Festival victims had gathered at dawn. Commanders feared rockets were being prepared to explode amongst those gathered to grieve and celebrate the lives of their loved ones in the southern Negev desert. But the terror attack was suppressed by withering artillery, drone and airstrikes directed at rocket launch sites in the terrorist enclave. I was at the Nova site at dawn and heard constant outgoing artillery rounds close by and the occasional burst of heavy machine gun fire. The huge operation carried out as Israeli President Isaac Herzog consoled relatives succeeded in protecting the event. But Hamas did unleash salvos of rockets later in the day towards Tel Aviv. Hamas fired 4,000 rockets on October the 7th last year, but managed to launch only around a handful today. Under fire terror troops targeted Tel Aviv with 5 rocket salvos today and also hit Sderot close to the Gaza frontier. Most were intercepted, but one landed in Tel Aviv, smashing a factory yards from a school in the east of the Israeli coastal city. 2 women were injured and others were left in shock. A drone alert had earlier sounded in Tel Aviv and the nation remained on maximum alert. Israeli warplanes meanwhile continued to blast Hezbollah targets in the group's strongholds in the southern suburbs of Lebanese capital Beirut as ground troops battled terrorist militia further south. IDF chiefs said they had ordered the evacuation of 25 southern Lebanese towns and villages to expand ground operations and smash terror tunnels. But Hezbollah has also continued to fire rockets at its hated enemy, causing injuries in Haifa and Tiberias in the north overnight. Nick Parker for The Sun in Israel. Terror group Hamas have managed to launch 5 missiles into Israel on the anniversary of the October the 7th attacks. One of the missiles, we're not sure whether it was actually a missile or whether it's debris from an interception, has landed on this factory behind me. It's apparently some kind of a firewood store, but there's lots of collateral damage nearby. 2 people have been injured. It shows on this anniversary day that even now Hamas is a potent force and cannot be entirely stopped from threatening Israel. We're told that 2 people suffered minor injuries here. Others were shocked by the sound of the explosion which rocked the entire neighbourhood. It's not yet dawn, but people are already gathering here on the Nova Festival site at Re'im. This is the place where exactly a year ago more than 360 festival goers were killed by Hamas terrorists who came across from that direction. Behind me there's a remembrance garden that's been created, posters and pictures and tributes to the festival goers that were killed here, and to my right there's a sea of poppies that have been set up also to commemorate them. The Israeli Defence Forces have told us that security has been stepped up enormously in preparation for today's commemorations. Rocket defences have been increased in the hope of stopping anything being launched from Gaza. The Iron Dome's also been shifted. Its position is in this area, shielding this area. Thousands of people are expected here, and there's a huge effort underway to protect them. I'm standing here amongst a sea of faces, all young faces, young people full of hope, here having a good time when the worst possible thing happened. I've been speaking to a few of the families here. They're all milling around basically amongst pictures of their loved ones, just remembering. As you can probably hear in the background, there's a lot of signs of the security in this area. There's explosions from outgoing artillery, presumably it's only to protect us. There's sirens. It's quite tense here, but at the same time, it's quite a moving spectacle. I'm at the site of the Nova Music Festival, where we've just watched a very moving vigil which started at 6:29 a.m, the exact time that the shooting started exactly a year ago on this spot. All around me you can see lots and lots of pictures of people who fell that day, innocent young people, festival goers who were killed. There's huge contrast here between the sea of smiling faces you can see here on all these pictures of the people who died here, 360 at least of them, and the incredible sadness of their families when they come to pay tribute to them exactly a year since it happened. At exactly 6:29, President Isaac Herzog appeared, the Israeli president, and moved amongst the relatives of the dead, consoling them, hugging them, passing on his condolences. The whole time that this was going on, we could hear the boom of outgoing artillery. We're very, very close to Gaza here. There was drones overhead, an Apache gunship was overhead. The noises all around us suggested that this is a country very much still at war, but they've taken time out right now to remember. At 6:29 a.m. precisely, they began playing the very last track that was played here at that time, exactly a year earlier. That was the music that was playing when the shooting started. In keeping with that today, the music stopped, there was a pause, and there was a moment where screams rang out to replicate the horror that was seen here at this spot 12 months ago. Exactly a year since that moment to be in the spot or close to where it happened.
It feels no different to the day I identified Jake. It's a day I will never forget. Identifying my son, our son, will live with me to the rest of my days. So Jake was a musician in a band, toured the world. This was Jake in June 23. Cut his hair, grew this, made Aliyah, loved life here, and his life's journey was cut short. Our daughter, Natasha, is autistic. Very difficult for her to comprehend that her big brother is no longer with us. We can't comprehend. You can't. I don't know if you're married, you have kids or anything. Okay, so you couldn't imagine. I wouldn't wish on anybody. We all expect to bury our parents at some stage.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's life. To bury a son is unimaginable.